Hi, and welcome to the Merryweather Knitting Podcast. My name is Gabriella, and I'm coming to you from my home in Germany, where I'm so excited to chat with you about knitting and crafting and spinning and all that I've been making this week. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and joining me again. It's so lovely to have you. As I said, I live in Germany. I live here with my husband, who's German. I'm an American. I grew up in the United States, but my husband and I fell in love, and then I moved here about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago now. And I love living here. We live in a kind of mid-sized town that borders on the Urwald, it's called in German, the Urwald, which is kind of like the ancient forest. And the town we lived in is the hometown of the Grimm's brothers, who wrote the Grimm's brothers fairy tales. And they were very inspired by the landscape and the forest and the surroundings here. And I really love fairy tales, and I love the Grimm's brothers fairy tales. And I love the place we live. I think it's very, very magical and very wonderful to live here. We have a daughter who's 10 months old, almost 11 months old, which means almost a year old, which I'm amazed that almost a year has passed. Her name is Esmeralda, and I knit a lot for her and make a lot of things for her. So today I am going to share with you what I've been working on this week. Last week I told you I have this sweater I'm working on, which is this little mushroom sweater, I call it. And it's this bulky weight sweater that I'm knitting for Esmeralda, or I was trying to, and I have not enjoyed the process very much. And last week I said, I cannot cast anything on, or I can't swatch, I can't do anything unless this is over, unless I've casted this off, because I have so little left. I only had the sleeves left, and long story short, I am so sorry to say, it was so funny because I made this huge statement about saying I'm not going to cast anything on unless this is finished, but I did. In fact, pretty much immediately, I cast on the swatch for my Clover sweater that I'm knitting for myself. And I have hardly touched the mushroom sweater. I kind of just decided I was going to make it a puffed sleeve, short sleeve sweater because I was so tired of it. And I haven't even cast it off. I haven't even finished that. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what to do with this, but I'm just going to move on. It will get finished at some point. I don't know. This is really it's painful for me to have it there still and to tell you. And I think this podcast makes it extra hard because I feel so accountable to the fact that I have started this project and not finished it, and just having it sitting there, I feel I don't know what to do about it, but yeah, it is what it is. As I said, I don't have a finished object that's not finished to show you, but I have cast on my Clover sweater, which is one of my Make 9 2021 patterns, which is a make-along that Amy of Noble Character Crafts hosts, and I am so excited to join in with that. This is the first project that I'm making for my Make 9. And the pattern is called Clover. It's by Wallin, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's kind of a cabled and a little bit of lace pullover pattern. And it's really, really beautiful. And I'm so excited about it. I was so excited about it. So I really knew I wanted to cast it on. And so I have it cast on. I've just started the ribbing. It's a fingering weight sweater. I mean, this is Rowan felted tweed. And Rowan felted tweed is I think right between, it's kind of right between a sport and a fingering weight, I've heard. So it's kind of on the pattern itself, Wallin writes that it's you can use any fingering weight yarn. So it's technically a fingering weight sweater. So it's slow going, and I don't mind that at all. I really don't. I think it's nice. Also, I just love the product, so I'm really excited about that. And I think also that the interest of these cables and this lace is going to be so much, so enough for me to get me really interested in knitting this. So here is what I have so far. It's just the little tiny ribbing, just a few, I guess, I don't know, maybe an inch, a couple of centimeters of ribbing I have so far. And I have to do 8 centimeters of ribbing. So I don't know, 3.5 inches maybe. And yeah, that's what I have so far. I'm really excited about it. But of course I swatched for this project. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will have also seen me asking a couple of questions about swatching, because I have never really properly swatched things. Here and there I have kind of swatched things, but kind of half-heartedly, and I'm ashamed to admit that. I think it's not a good thing. I think it's good to swatch and be very thorough, but I just was half-hearted about it in the past. And I have had trouble because I did that. I have run into problems. So I wanted to really swatch properly for this. One, because the project is a long-going project. Like, it's fingering weight, it's a sweater, it's going to take a good amount of time to knit. And how tragic if you spend that much time knitting something just to have it fit poorly and just to, like, I don't know, that would just be a shame. So I wanted to take the time it took. The other reason why is just I think it's important to be a good steward of your materials. And this is nice yarn. This is beautiful yarn. And I really appreciate the fact that I get to use this yarn. So in order to respect it, I wanted to swatch. At the beginning of swatching, I was bored. I was swatching. I was like, I want to be spending this time on the actual sweater. Like, I don't want to be swatching right now. And so on Instagram, I like asked, I said, do you really need to do 4 inches or 10 centimeters? Can you do just half of that? Will that be enough for a swatch? And I got mixed responses, but overwhelmingly, I got the response that yes, you need to swatch a full 10 centimeter swatch. And so, it's going to save you trouble. It's important. That's how you get a proper measurement of your gauge. If it's smaller, you can't really properly measure it. Multiplying it doesn't really work. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. It was hard, but I went through it. And in the end, I'm so happy I did. I'm just so happy I did. And because I got a good gauge measurement, I really could properly check. And honestly, I got gauge pretty much immediately. So not because of that, but I could check that I did. I could check, and I did kind of see, because I washed it and then I blocked it a little bit, and I could see, okay, potentially, it grew a little bit after I kind of steamed it, although now I feel like it's shrunk a little again. But I could also see, how it's going to grow and how it's going to shift when it's washed, and also how the material works. I think that's also a really great, important part of swatching, is just to be able to see how the material feels and how it looks, how it's going to look after it's finished. Because I've never knit with this yarn before. I don't know how it knits up. I don't know how the fabric looks at this, knit at this gauge. So that was a really huge benefit to gauge swatching. The other great thing about this is that I got to practice the little repeats here, the chart. I got to practice reading the chart. I got familiar with the symbols. I got familiar with kind of the flow and the rhythm of knitting this cable and stitch pattern. And there are a lot of new things here for me, a lot of new things. So it was great to kind of practice that and get out some of the kinks that I think I would have probably encountered at the beginning. I made a mistake or two at the very beginning of the swatch, and I could immediately kind of figure out what it was and why. And that was just a wonderful part of the swatch, because I feel like it saved me some trouble later on, just in that pattern repeat part. I love the way it looks, and it was a lot of fun to knit. Here's my swatch. And it's funny because, like, look here, this is like a bulb, because I was kind of like, it's actually like, this is the center panel of the front of the pullover. This part repeats again on the other side. You can kind of visualize that. So I kind of stopped it at some point, but there's an increase here, and I did the increase. And so, like, there's this bulb here, which is like, you see, this is the side of the repeat, and there's like the little bulb. I don't know how you'd say it. You can't probably see it in the camera as well as you can in real life. But yeah, it's funny. But I figured out so much about this pattern and about just how it's going to knit up. And also I get to see the yarn, how it's going to turn out. And I love the way that it looks. You can see the little specks of blue, the tweedy, like camel shades, everything. And I'm even more in love with this green than ever before. I really love it. I think it's just the most beautiful shade of green. And I can't wait to knit the whole pullover. It is definitely, for me, this chart is a full attention kind of pattern. I cannot do this sitting and watching TV. I can't. I guess you could, but I just won't be able to focus that well. I can't do it well sitting and like watching Esmeralda play, which is what I do a lot when I knit. I can listen to an audiobook or music, but it takes my full attention, because it's not like a repeat that's short. It's really this huge chart, and then this chart, and then this chart again, which is like mirrored of this one, and then it's just all twisted stitch on the side, like lots of twisted stitches, little mini cables. So it's definitely for me a full attention kind of a pattern, which I like. I like that. It's challenging. And it made me, as in this swatch, I realized, I've been using the word meditative for stockinette projects or garter projects, but actually those kind of mindless projects are not very meditative to me. What I realized as I knit this swatch was that actually the more complicated, this more complicated pattern is actually more meditative to me than something mindless. Because with mindless projects, I do it almost, I just do it, it's just to move my hands. It's like moving my hands, seeing something progress. It's a wonderful feeling, but it's not meditative in the sense that it that my focus is on one thing, that I'm really in the present moment. Because when I'm knitting stockinette or garter, I'm really in conversation, I'm watching something, I'm walking, I'm completely somewhere else it's just for my hands. It's like my hands, my body and my mind are separate in a way when I knit something that's mindless. Whereas this, I was completely connected to it. It was completely present in the moment as I knit. And so for me, this ended up being a very meditative project, or is going to be. I think just the swatch showed me that. I'm speaking it's been a lot, but it's just been the swatch that showed me this is really kind of for me, a meditative practice to knit something that is a little bit more involved than something stockinette or garter or simple. And I'm excited about that because I have not knit something like that in a while, and I just think it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a completely different experience. It's going to be really slow going because I can't do it while I'm doing other things. I know that there's just going to be a couple of hours a day that I can even slip it in somewhere. So my goal for this project is to do half an hour a day. At some point, whether that be in the evening or during Esmeralda's nap time, I'm hoping that I just get half an hour a day on this project, and then it'll slowly progress and move along. But I'm so excited about it. I think it's super beautiful and just so lovely. I'm so happy to be knitting this. So this is the Clover pattern by Wallin. It's knit flat, and I love knitting it in the flat. I've liked it so far. I mean, I've not started, so I'm talking about it like I know. I don't know. You will be kept up to date as I progress. But yeah, there I am with that so far. The next thing I have to show you is just my little, I finished the sock and I forgot to bring the sock. You can picture how the sock looks. Next time I will show you the other sock. Hopefully I'll have more to show you of this sock too. But I finished the first sock of these socks I'm knitting for my husband, Nick. These are knit in the Opal. Last week I think I said Regia or Regia. I don't know how I should say it. I said that company, but it's actually Opal. So forgive me for that mistake too. But this is the Opal yarn, Opal sock yarn. It's I think 75-25 wool to nylon in the Hundertwasser colorway. It's self-striping. Hundertwasser is an artist, and this is his Blinde Venus colorway. And I love it. I love the self-striping yarn. I think it's so fun, and it just keeps me knitting on it. I love to see the colors progress. It's just so much fun. So it's going really well. Last time I told you I had to rip back and reknit and that stuff, and you were so encouraging. I got so many encouraging notes that just really motivated me to just chill out and keep going. And I did, and I finished the sock, and it was lovely. Yeah, it's just great. So I'm excited to be this far on the cuff of the second sock. And I don't try to make these match at all. I think if I were gonna knit a pair of socks for somebody who's who I don't know very well, or who I know really values matchy things or something. There are some people I know who would definitely want their socks to match. If they were striping, I would make an effort. But I mostly knit socks for myself, or for now for my husband or for somebody else. So I feel for him, he does not mind them not matching. I never mind them not matching. In fact, I kind of like it when they're a little off. I think it's kind of cool and fun and very handmade-ish, handmade-y, if you know what I mean, if they're a little off. So I like it when the colorway kind of is different. I mean, it's the same colors, it's the same repeat, but if, it starts with a different color and progresses differently on each sock, I think it's really sweet. So I haven't tried to make these match at all, and I like it that way. So that's it. That's the second sock. And there's my cute little progress keeper stitch marker from, I think it's Sweet Sugar Rush on Etsy. I'm not quite sure, but there it is. The little tiny Belgian waffles with whipped cream and cherries. Yeah, I love that stitch marker so much. I think it's so cute. So those are my projects right now on the needles. I think I need to stop making big statements about things. Like last time I was like, yeah, I just am going to have 2 projects. I definitely am going to maintain that for now, but this last week I've been just thinking about casting a couple of things on, and I don't know, I've been holding myself back because of the point that I made. I don't want to get myself overwhelmed by too many things. I want to make progress on what I have already, but there might be another cast on in the future in addition to socks and sweater. Because of also the nature of this one here, because this one is so, I mean, after the ribbing, right now the ribbing is just, you know, also pretty mindless and relaxed, but after the ribbing, once I start the repeats, it's going to be something which takes a lot of effort, so maybe I want to cast on something that's a middle ground piece that's not socks, but also is not this complicated. I don't know. I feel like I make too many statements and I just need to chill out about it, but not overthink things like that. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm gonna get myself some tea here. Right now I'm drinking some black tea, some very strong, very long brewed black tea. I love when my tea is brewed very long. I like leave the bag in. I do not take it out. I don't know how, like it's not enough. If it's brewed for 3 minutes, it needs to be at least 5 minutes, if not like 50 minutes in a teapot. I just love very strongly brewed black tea. And I also love it with milk and with honey, but today I'm just drinking it black. I have another thing to talk to you about and to show you. And that is my yarn acquisitions this week. My new beautiful wool that came in the mail that I've been waiting for so long for it to arrive. Over a month, I think, maybe. I don't know if it's been that long. I think it has though. And this is just really special. So I'm going to share that with you. I ordered this yarn like a month ago. This is Jameson Smith Shetland yarn. I went on the Jameson Smith Shetland Wool Brokers website just out of curiosity to see the colors. Not because I was planning on buying anything, because I did not need to. At that time, I did not need to buy anything. I just wanted to look at the colors. And I saw that they had a sale section. And for me, that's where I always head. First thing, I learned that from my mother, my mom. She would just, we went into any shop, straight to the sale section. I think as a child, we didn't even look anywhere else in shops. Like we just straight up went straight to the sale. And I don't even think, as a child, I think my mom didn't buy anything that wasn't on sale at all. Like, I mean, except for maybe food, of course, like at the grocery store. But I don't know. I also don't know if that's inappropriate to talk about or not. But I definitely am not that way. I definitely buy things full price, especially when it comes to crafting material. But I checked that out. I checked it out. And, you know, being on a budget, like, you gotta get what you can. So I went on there and I saw that they had this yarn that they're discontinuing, and it's called the Shetland Chunky yarn. And there are 2 colors left of this yarn. And it's clear that these 2 colors are not everybody's colors. It's clear that these are not the colors that everybody would want to have or drawn to. Pretty bold colors, but I was extremely fascinated, enthralled, besotted with the colors when I saw them. I thought they were beautiful. And they were marked, these yarn skeins, balls, cakes, were marked like 50% off. So I thought and thought and thought for like 3 days. And then I went ahead and I made an order, a huge order, for me a huge order, of 15 balls of yarn. And this yarn, okay, this is like, each one I think is 100 grams. So each one is 100 grams. Yeah, each ball is 100 grams. So that makes it like 1.5 kilos of yarn. That's how much I got of this. And look at the color. I'm gonna take it out of the bag now and show you. This is how it came in this bag. But, you know, sometimes when you order things online, you know, I feel like now things are more accurate, photo accurate. You kind of know what to expect when you get certain things, especially if you're ordering from somewhere like Jameson Smith, somewhere that's just like reputable and good. You know, you're going to get what you see. There are times where you get something and you're a little underwhelmed, or it's not quite what you had expected, but there are also times when you get things and it exceeds your expectation and it just blows your mind. For me, it was like when I got my Alafos Lopi yarn a few months ago. I had never seen Lopi yarn before, like in real life. I had never touched it, never smelled it, and when I got it, I was in love. I fell in love. It was so beautiful. It smelled like the sheep. There were pieces of hay in the yarn, like it was just so stunning. And this is for me like living that experience over, but in a different way, and in a different way exciting. So here, I'm going to show you the colors before I go on. So I got these two colors. One of them I got 5 balls of, and one of them I got 10 balls of. Because seeing from the pictures online, I just thought, okay, I kind of tried to picture a couple of projects that I wanted to make, and kind of bought based on that. But the first one I got, which I have 10 balls of, is this one. I hope you can see it. The color is not showing up on camera at all how it looks in real life. Like, I mean, you know, it looks close enough, but it's not as rich as it is in real life. In real life, I would say it's a little bit darker, a little bit more, I mean, it's definitely more rich and more bold. But, you know, you can see the red and the blue strands and this beautiful worsted spun yarn. Look at that. Oh, I don't know if you can see it or not. It does not look so good at the light, but it's just beautiful. In real life, it's even more beautiful than it looks there. But I feel like when you see it far away, it looks more accurate. So this is the shade Fuchsia in the Shetland Chunky. 100% Shetland wool, 100 grams, 120 meters, 131 yards. Oh, look at that. It's so beautiful. So this is the shade I got 10 of because I thought I can make myself a sweater out of it. 10 is probably enough for a couple of projects. So I just got a lot because I liked it a lot. And because I recently discovered, I mean, I never really liked the color purple. For a long time, I did not like the color purple. I don't know what it was, especially dark purple. I just didn't like it for a long, long time. But this last year, I've kind of fallen in love with the shade Fuchsia, with this exact shade, this kind of very rich fuchsia, purple, deep purpley color. Not aubergine, not like royalish purple, like really this fuchsia color. And so I fall in love with this color. I think it's a good color for me. I like it. It's sometimes troublesome and difficult for me to find colors which suit me well and that I really like. I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of like there's like a discrepancy between those two things. But this color is just wild. And I also think it suits me, I think. And I just love it. So I was so excited about this one, and I thought I want to make a sweater out of this. The two patterns I have in mind, when talking about my Make 9 2021, I had mentioned that I would either want to make the Anne of Cleves pattern from the Alice Dunmore Tudor Roses book, which we are doing a knit along with. I'm doing that with Sophie of the Becca Creation podcast and with Bella of the 100 Acre Wool podcast, which I've talked about lots before. But I thought maybe this year one of my projects would be the Anne of Cleves pattern. But I wasn't so sure. I thought, by the time that time of year rolls around and I'm done with these projects, like, I don't know if I'm going to really want to knit that, or if I'm going to want something a little simpler, because I have a couple more complex projects already in mind. So I had thought about doing this sweater called the Chilling Out Sweater. The designer's name I can't remember at the moment. I'm so sorry. But I thought about doing the Chilling Out Sweater, and now that's definitely off the table. I'm definitely not doing the Chilling Out Sweater, especially not with this yarn, because this yarn is just pretty rustic and pretty it's very robust in a lot of ways. And this Chilling Out Sweater is kind of more like for home, chilling out. It's baggy and oversized, but I think in a way that I don't really want right now. I think, I want a kind of, with this yarn and the pattern I had envisioned, I want to have an oversized kind of chunkier, like an oversized cozy sweater, but an oversized cozy sweater that I can wear outside in the elements, like kind of a practical, just warm, fun, cozy sweater that I can wear in the woods, that I can wear, by the beach. Because in the winters, usually, Nick and I love to go to the North Sea, and it's really cold up there in the winter. And so we love going in the winter or the early spring and having like a really warm, cozy, heavy duty pullover is just kind of my dream. So I thought I would knit something with this. And I found a different pattern, which was a Fair Isle chunky pattern. And it's like, it has a turtleneck and it's just oversized and beautiful. And I thought about that too. And I'm still kind of considering that. Maybe when the time comes, I will want to do that. But right now, when I saw these yarns, I just thought like, this is the perfect yarns for the Anne of Cleves pattern. I first saw this one and I was in love with it. It was exactly what I had imagined. If not, it exceeded what I had imagined for sure. And it's just absolutely beautiful in every single way. But then I saw this one. This is the second one I got. And the shade is called Lupin. It's Lupin. Lupin, I think. I don't know if you can see. And there it is. There's the color. It's more of like a lighter purple kind of lilac color. You can still see the beautiful strands and variegated in just in each strand, like the variegated color, red and purple and blue and just beautiful mix. It's super beautiful. When I saw it, I feel like light purples, I wouldn't really expect to suit me well. But when I saw this, I thought, I think I could even wear this color. I think I could wear this color even as like just against my skin, which is, I don't know, sometimes I feel like these colors are they don't suit me well, but I really like this one and I thought it looked beautiful. So I was almost like, should I buy 5 more of this one? Because I only have 5 of this, and maybe knit the Anne of Cleves from this one, because I think I just picture the cables with this yarn would just be absolutely beautiful, that they would just stand out and be stunning in this shade, because just the fact that it's a little bit lighter, the beautiful worsted spun, I just think it's pretty much made for a cabled, chunky, beautiful sweater. Yeah, I kind of thought about that because I just think it's super beautiful. I don't know, I can't decide, but I kind of can decide. I couldn't decide at first, but I kind of thought, you know what? Be thankful for what you have. Don't be greedy. You have enough for this sweater with this color, and this color is definitely perfect too. I'm not so sure. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with these yarns. I'm going to definitely knit a pullover out of them. If it's the Fair Isle one, I'm not sure. It could be that it's the Anne of Cleves. I don't know how I'm going to feel at that time of year. I'm going to allow myself to have freedom and just decide spontaneously when the time comes what I want to knit. But I'm just in love with this yarn, and it smells like sheep. It smells like, oh, it just smells like a sheep warehouse where there's like all the beautiful wool is kept. A barn, like it smells so good. Oh, it smells so good. I'm in love with it. And the colors are beautiful. Everything about it is beautiful. It just is out of this world. So I've been talking about this for so long. I hope you forgive me. There it is. The Jameson Smith Shetland Chunky. Now, unfortunately, discontinued yarn, but also fortunately for me because I got it at a huge discount. 50% off. Like, I'm amazed. The only sad thing was that I did have to pay tax on it when it came. And that was disappointing because I didn't expect that I would have to. I thought it was under the like threshold, but I had to pay 17 euro. But it was still a discount. Even if I like calculate that with it, it was still a good discount. So I'm not complaining. And that is what it is. Thanks to Brexit now in Germany, we have to pay taxes. So that's the Jameson Smith yarn that I'm really excited to show you. I don't know what to do. Can you let me know? Maybe it's sold out by now even. But do you think this shade is much better for me, or is it not? Like if I were to knit a big pullover out of this with a turtleneck, I would love to hear what you think. Or is this one better? I don't know. I have enough of this one. I had 15 balls because I had expected that I would knit with this one a sweater pattern I've seen. I think it's called the hibiscus, and it's a really cool pattern for like little girls that's like kind of like a dress, but it's got these huge balloon like sleeves that are kind of like 3/4 length sleeves, and I really wanted to knit that for her out of this, which I think I might still do. I'm definitely going to knit that for her out of one of these colors. I'm not sure which one yet, but yeah. So that's the yarn I had to show you. I hope that you're not too bored by that. This week has been really a lot of fun. It's been snowing like nonstop every day. I feel like it snowed a little bit. It melts a little bit, but then it comes and I feel like it's really stuck here in a way I've never experienced while living in Germany. Where I'm from in the States I'm from the Midwest, or at least, you know, not from the Midwest originally, but my family lives in the Midwest now, and I lived there for the years before I moved here. And there, like, the snow is intense, really intense, and the coldness is really intense. It's extremely cold. So Here it's been very mild, the winters, but this year I feel like the snow has just been so wonderful, and it's been the first time I've experienced a real snowy winter since living in the States. So it's really been so much fun to have that. And another funny thing that's happened this week, which I'm just remembering now, is that my husband, Nick, told me that he would like to learn to embroider. I was kind of going through my crafting supplies. I have one big plastic box full of all my crafting supplies, and it kind of exceeds this a little bit. I've got another basket with crafting things, but mostly it's one bucket this big full of all of my yarn and stuff, and kind of sewing supplies, a little bit of sewing supplies that I have, and some fiber for spinning, and I have some embroidery stuff in there too. I have one little embroidery project that I've been working on for a super long time. It's like a pillow top that my mom gave me that she found at a thrift shop, and I used to love to embroider, not in any kind of professional way. I don't really know how to officially cross stitch or anything, but I learned some stitches on YouTube, and I just used to like to embroider things for fun, kind of just freestyle, free form. I don't know, I'm definitely not an expert, but I've loved, every now and then kind of working on this pillow cover, but I've had it for so long and I've not, finished it. Obviously it's still there. But as I was going through my things, Nick saw my little embroidery bag and he was like, wow, that's so beautiful. What is that? He's seen it before, but it's been a long time since he's seen me work on it or seen it at all. And I think he probably didn't really notice it. He thought it was beautiful. And he was like, wow, you can do that? You can embroider things? And I was like, yeah, it's really fun. It's really easy. And he was like, I want to learn. He was like, I want to learn how to do that. So he's really, really excited and interested in learning how to embroider. So we will see. All that I have embroidery wise is this little set. I used to have embroidery thread, a little set of things like that, but I didn't bring them with me when I moved here because I hadn't been embroidering that much, and I haven't done it since I moved here. So gonna have to see if we get him some materials. I have a little hoop that he can use, but I think it's so cute and so sweet that he wants to try to embroider things. He's like, can I embroider things on my jean jacket? And I was like, yeah, you can pretty much do anything. It's your creative freedom. And he's really excited about that. So that will be a fun adventure. I think when you get someone involved in any kind of crafting, it's a lot of fun. And, he's an artist. He's a visual artist and a film artist and a musician. So he's a very artistic person. He studied visual communications at university and just has done all kinds of things, anything you can imagine he's done. As far as stuff he's done, woodworking, kind of carving things, metal carving, I don't even know, embossing things, I don't know, he's done all kinds of crazy things, but embroidery apparently not yet. So it's going to be a lot of fun to do that with him. And I love his aesthetic, I love his artistic eye. So it's fun to be able to maybe work on that with him. I have to admit, my 30 minutes a day of spinning I've not been very efficient on. I haven't done any spinning this week at all, which I'm ashamed to say. But I also think, it's just fun. It's all for fun. If I don't feel like doing something, I don't force myself to. I try not to force myself too much. Sometimes I do, but I've just let it sit there. It has served me so well in moments where I felt like a lull in knitting, and it served me so well when I've needed to be on the move, kind of. So I love spinning, and my spindle's there, and my wool is there. And I am excited to go back to it at some point, but this week I haven't been doing it. And I think, I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. I finished my first sock of this pair I'm working on. I continued that, and I did the swatch and started the sweater. So I'm really happy about where I'm at. And I don't think it makes sense to feel too guilty about that. But I do want to continue on with spinning soon. Anyway. So now it's already the afternoon. It's already 4 o'clock. I think my sister-in-law is going to come by for a couple of minutes soon, and I'm excited to see her because I have not seen her for a while. And this evening, I'm just excited to relax and do some knitting, continue on my sweater. So excited about that. So I'm hoping that you're having a wonderful week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, start to your weekend, and I would love to hear about what you're making, what you're up to this week. On my Tudor Roses video, I'm doing a giveaway. That's episode 11, a giveaway for a free pattern on Ravelry. I'm going to be announcing the winner to that giveaway next episode. So if you would like to enter in for a chance to win a free pattern on Ravelry, go to that video and leave a comment letting me know, something that you want to work on this next year, and you will be entered to win automatically. Anyway, that's all that I have to share with you this week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!